Okay, well, we are live, and I think at some point I'll see who's listening. But thanks to everybody for being here. So just to go around the table here, for everybody, that's my brother John and his wife Marla. Pepe's
Nice to meet you.
he's married to Cherry Moore, who runs My Bella Vita Italia, or My Bella Vita Travel. We have Letizia Sinisi, my newest and oldest best friend in Italy, who's been helping me plan a trip for 2 years now. I'm coming no matter what. We're coming.
You are coming.
And Elena is another new best friend. Like I said, she's from Italy. And then we have Rich from Philadelphia. So thanks everybody for being here. And the whole point is to talk about Italian Sunday dinners. And we Italian Americans think we invented Italian Sunday dinners. So I wanted to ask the Italians, did you have Italian Sunday dinner?
Not dinners, lunch.
Lunch, yes. Well, we called it dinner, but it was actually lunch. We would start 1 or 2 o'clock.
Yeah, more or less in Italy the same. Yeah,
And
it's a big tradition. It's a big
and as Elena and I were talking a little while ago, I asked her what's the biggest difference between Italians and Italian Americans, and she said, "We eat everything at one time in America, where in Italy you have courses, right?"
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the
Yes.
first course, main course, and then the secondo, sometimes the antipasta, depending on the importance of the dinner, and then il contorno, which is a sort of side dish to the second course, and then the dessert, dolce, frutta, fruit, and then caffè, and what we call ammazza caffè, which is some liquor after the coffee. Yeah.
So how long did it take from start to finish?
Hours. I don't know a bit about your experience, but yeah.
Yeah, my experience is that depends on the number of people around the table, actually. Because if you are in more than 4, for example, then it lasts because that's something that we call convivialità.
Yeah.
That is it's a value for Italians. So being together, drinking, eating, talking, etc. And so it's a very it's a Greek actually traditional it's a Greek tradition that we have in our DNA, let's say. So it depends on people, on the number of people, and also on the celebration, because for example, like Elena said, actually we have lunch on a Sunday, a long lunch, and then at dinner we eat very little usually. But there is a special dinner that is coming with Christmas period, and it's the Eve dinners. So that are special dinners before the day of the celebration, and that actually can last 3 hours.
Yeah.
Also on the day of the celebration, and it can last a half a day, especially in the south. So there's also a difference between the north and the south. Usually in the south, we use to be a lot of time around the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you call that the Feast of the Seven Fishes?
No, it's not an Italian tradition. I discovered it coming here. We
So
haven't.
that's Italian American. Italian American would call it the Feast of
Absolutely.
the Seven.
We haven't in Italy something like that.
Thank you.
Because as Letizia said before, during the Christmas holidays, there are several occasions to reunite around the table. And so there is the Christmas dinner, which is the most important, but also all over the period. And also, of course, the New Year's Eve, which is everywhere in Italy. And it's very long because usually we wait until midnight to celebrate the New Year.
And I guess, for us that are Italian American, we always had the bacalao or the cod salted because it wasn't fresh, so it would stay. Obviously, in Italy, you probably get it fresh.
Yeah.
No, we have also the bacalao. Yes. Yeah. And it's fried, especially in the evening. It's fried bacala or with olives. Yeah, it's a
Yes.
different. We have different ways
Yes.
of eating it. But
Exactly.
in the
That was my
eves,
favorite.
yeah, so with a little pomodorino on top of it.
Yeah, Letizia, I remember my dad, his specialty was bacala in umido with the little cherry tomatoes, with potatoes, with
Olives.
olives, black olives. So it was like a great, like a second dish. And beside like the fried, because that could be like an entree, like an antipasta sometimes. It depends on the families, you know.
Yeah.
Some people, they use like the fried as an entree, like the round, like little balls. But I remember my dad, his specialty was making this huge pot of bacala in umido, which guys was so good. And yeah.
And in Rome, for instance, the fried bacala is one of the antipasti because the filetto
Yeah.
di bacala
Some people, yes.
typical antipasto Roman, a typical Roman antipasto. Yeah.
Yeah. So the three of you are all from different regions, right? Peppe, you're from Calabria. Letizia, I know you're originally from Puglia, but now you're in Rome.
But I live in Rome. Yes.
And Elena, you're from the north, yeah?
Well, yes, from the center because I was born in Livorno in Tuscany, but from a family who has southern roots because my father was from the province of Salerno and my maternal grandfather was from Apulia. And so I'm mixed.
Can I interrupt? Because Letizia, my grandparents were also from Puglia, Biccheri, in Fudge.
Wow.
Yeah, and Peppe, Calabria. Both,
yes.
You know.
Fudge, so nice yes, in Puglia. Yes.
It's a good mix, Rich, huh? Calabrese and Pugliese.
Yes.
Yeah, very strong person, strong man.
Yeah, well, we're from me and my mom's family's from Torito. So were there like regional specialties for like a typical Sunday meal or a holiday meal for each of you? Because I know the regions have different cuisine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, who starts?
That is just one name that comes to my mind. That is ragu on a Sunday. It's a ragu. It's a whatever. Especially if you walk in the streets, you know what ragu is? This meat sauce with pasta, and this is called ragu. And you feel that you can real in the streets. You can smell it all the time, especially in the little villages. I don't know whether Peppe in Calabria.
Oh yeah. I was telling Bob. I was chatting before live, guys, and I told that my grandmother, my mom, she's from Cosenza province, and she used to make this fileia pasta, which is a homemade pasta with a ferretto, which is very technical. And it was a pleasure because the whole family was working on this homemade pasta, guys, and making the ragu for hours. And basically it's a first dish, it's a second at the same time. And it's so good because you mix beef, pork, and he cooks, guys, for 5-6 hours. And that was a classic, like a staple of Sunday, like a lunch for not just Calabrian or Southern people, but ragu is a classic in Italy, I think. So
national.
Yeah, it's a national. Yeah. So, and it depends on the region. In Calabria, we used to put some sausage to make it more flavor, of course, and spicier, Calabrese. But it's I agree with Elena. It's a national dish because it's very popular.
Also, my grandma, my maternal grandma was Toscan as well. She cooked every Sunday. She cooked the ragu.
It is a Sunday dish, guys, because I remember growing up, ragu was our favorite dish, like for Sunday lunch.
So because we have the big debate here in the States, we have the tomato sauce gravy debate that makes everybody crazy. And I say to everybody, it doesn't matter as long as it tastes good. But is ragu? So ragu has meat in it, yes? Is that
yes?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so that's what we would call here. Because we always after the pasta was served or during, we would say we're going to have, they would have a big bowl of what we would call gravy meat.
Oh, Bob, ragu. Okay, there are two kind of ragu in Italy. There is the bolognese, big classic, which is ground beef.
Yeah.
Okay, you start from ground beef and you add all your, the chopping, the battuta, which is celery, which is onion, which is carrots, yes. And basically you saute the veggie and then you put the meat, with the wine. The ragu that I'm talking about, it's more southern, like a Naples, like a big chunk of beef, chunk of pork, and you saute and you cook for hours. But yes, it's a big chunk of beef and pork. And in Calabria, we mix also the sausage because you wanna feel that kick, that spicy that some sausage can give you in the long cooking. But it's a real meat that cooks for hours and it's very tender. And it's the second part of your second dish. Yes.
You realize, of course, you're all gonna have to send the family recipes to me now. I hope you realize that.
No problem.
Bob, like I said, I have to leave dinner here, so kiss everybody. Maybe you could talk about tripe because that was a staple in my household in the Italian American side. I don't know if the folks in Italy ate tripe, but
oh, Rich, you're touching, like, I'm from Catanzaro, so basically Catanzaro, we used to be, we are still extremely poor as a city, as a region,
Indeed.
And tripe was the part of that no one wants to eat. Yeah, no one. So, and a poor lady in Catanzaro, she used to go to the market, collect them, clean them, boil them, and she invented the morzello. Let me type morzello. Oh, I misspelled morzello. I'm losing my.
It's a delicacy now. People eat,
And morzello is
covered.
Yes, Bob, it's trendy. It's trendy. It's very.
There you go. There's the word.
Just tripe is with some, and it cooks for hours. It's when you eat in this round bread called pita. I don't know if you heard, guys, about the pita bread.
Oh yeah.
Yes, in Salento.
Yes, it's a very, and you eat in the pita.
I have to run, so sorry. Bye,
Okay.
folks. Bye, Bob.
I'm recording it, Rich, so you'll hear it. We'll get you in on it.
Bye.
Pleasure talking with you folks.
Our pleasure.
Pleasure.
So, guys, that's now. It's very trendy. Nowadays so many restaurants they sell the morzello like it's a five star like Michelin, and it's just tripe. Yes. So.
My wife is a Jew from Miami, and when you're talking about ragu, she thinks it's the stuff in the jar in the supermarket.
No, guys, it's a long process.
Ragu in the jar?
No, we love we love cooking ragu for hours. Yes. So
yeah, well, I cook, so she gets it. She knows.
Yeah.
She knows what's good.
So the only possible issue that you can have after eating ragu is that you need some digestive because
Letizia, this is why we have the Amaro, right?
Yes, that's the reason.
We have the Amaro ready to frozen in the chill, yes. Yes.
So it's funny because my friend Antonia, she moved there 2 years ago. Letizia, you spoke to Antonia. I know you know her. And she sent me I think it was the Marzoni sisters in Salerno, and she said it was Italian fast food. So I have to ask the question because when I was there 25 years ago, I was horrified in Rome to see a McDonald's. So what's your take on either American fast food or Italian fast? And I know that the menu in Italy is different than the menu in the United States. So what do you guys think about that?
Well,
American fast food. See or no?
Bob, life is changing in Italy. It's getting faster and faster. People have less time, unfortunately. Let me say unfortunately. And this fast food, they're taking place. So yes.
But you have street fast food, right? In Italy.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are plenty. We are full of examples of street food. Yeah.
But McDonald's has succeeded in changing the image that they had, because there was a period in which we thought that it was bad meat, there's a bad oil to fry, and so actually we didn't think. I don't know whether I interpret also my friends, Italian friends' opinion. We thought that it was not so healthy to go to McDonald's. You could take children there because there are Big Mac, etc., but just once in a while. So I have a son, but I might in the past I might have gone there 3 times, no more, in 26 years of my but they have changed. I was surprised, positively surprised, when in a mall I went there and I saw they had typical menus, typical also traditional menus, Italian meat. So they have changed completely the menu to become healthier, because in our opinion, they were not healthy. And that has happened in the last 5 years, I think.
Or maybe more, because I remember also they introduced pasta and salad, fresh salad, and it was a couple of decades ago. And so, because probably they understood that the Italian audience was not so happy to just eat totally like in the American way, and so they try to introduce also to
Did they have big macaroni?
widen the audience in a way, their market.
Yes, they have Big Mac. They still have their specialties.
And the kids, of course, love it.
Did they have big macaroni?
So Dana asked the question: has anyone ever heard of cookies made of anchovies?
Oh, they're called zeppole. Basically, they're made out of flour. This is the name, zeppole. With someone makes it with mashed potatoes. They fried little eggs, and they put anchovies inside. And I remember in a little village nearby my house, there was this. The mom of one of my best friends. She made the best zeppole in earth, guys. She fried in front of us, and then she was pairing with the fresh, like a homemade soppressata. Guys, you cannot beat any appetizer. I mean, that's the best with the local red wine, guys. Bob. So wow. Yes, it's a southern tradition, and it's still very, very popular, and people do in Christmas time also. It's a Christmas tradition, like
I thought that zeppole was just a sweet cookie, a sweet pastry, kind of pastry.
Elena, you can do both ways. You can do the same dough. You can do the same dough and then roll in the sugar. Okay. It's like a dessert at the end. But generally speaking, it can be round or like with a pita shape. But the one we like the best is an antipasto in Christmas time with soppressata, any kind. Yes.
It's quite interesting because actually there we come to the different names that the same receipts have in different regions. For example, zeppole, the one that Peppe is referring to, is exactly the same in the south of Puglia, are called pittule. And these can be both salted and sweet. Just some sugar, they call pittule. While in the north of Puglia, they call pittule, it's just sweet. just with a syrup of figs. I don't know whether you know. It's
Oh, wow.
yeah, that is special. That is really special. So you fry these little balls that are called petole, pitole, and then you roll them into the hot fig syrup. That is
Oh, wow.
special, and with some cinnamon on them, if you like.
I love cinnamon.
It's really special.
So Letizia, one of our special desserts, and usually around Easter time they would make it, but we make it all the time. We called it pizza dolce. It was mostly eggs, ricotta, little anisette. So you know that dish, yeah?
Yes, yes. It's called, at least in Puglia, it's called pizza di ricotta. That it's
Okay.
ricotta pizza. Yes, yes. And it's you can have also some chocolate inside, liquor, ricotta, white cream, and it is pizza dolce. We sometimes in Italy, it's not just ricotta, but it's also pasta frolla. Pasta frolla is basically the pasta. It's a salted or a sweet pasta in which you put either jam or ricotta or something that and then you call it crostata. And then you can call crostata di ricotta or pizza di ricotta is with the pasta frolla in around.
Curious because in Tuscany there is a sort of what we call pizza dolce, but it's not a pizza because it's not flat, it's high, and we usually eat it for Easter in the Easter period, and it's like what here you can call a sort of banana bread, but not with banana, so a sweet bread, and there are some seeds of come il finocchio, fennel.
Yeah.
Seeds of fennel, and it's very simple. It's something that comes from the cucina povera. But it's very tasty. It's delicious at breakfast with hot milk. So you inzuppare, you pour it, you dump in the hot milk, and it's very good.
Yeah. I mean, we used to have that same thing. We used to have it around Easter time. Zeppola, trying to get my mother to make that was very hard because she didn't want to put all that oil in the pan. But she said, "What am I going to do with it afterwards?" But we used to have the Italian feast right outside my grandmother's house. My brother probably remembers better than I do because he's much older than I am. But we used to have the Zeppola stand right outside my grandmother's gate, and it was 3 for 25 cents. Now, forget it.
Yeah, the feast was right. It was on my grandmother's block. We used to have the feast.
Yeah, also. She understands we are talking about food.
Yeah.
Sorry about.
No, John, you were saying about the feast out front.
Yeah, it was on my grandmother's block. It used to be in another part of Corona, but then they moved it to my grandmother's block, and so we had everything. We'd go there every Sunday or whenever the feast was and hang out. But I make the pizza dolce. I make it for Christmas. I do an open house on Christmas, and invite friends and neighbors over. You're welcome to come if you like. So yeah, I make that. It's a big hit. Everybody likes it.
Delish.
And certainly, you guys being from Italy, you didn't have the unique experience that we had on Sundays. Some of the people listening probably know what I'm talking about. When we brought the non-Italian friends to dinner, they had no idea what they were in for. And we used to have to tell them, especially Christmas or Easter or something like that. We had to tell them, slow down. This is only part one.
Absolutely
so
right.
did your parent? Did all your parents? Did they make like homemade pastas? And because my uncle Frank was amazing. He had a big board, and he would make the pasta fresh, especially for like ravioli or something like that. And he could roll that pasta out so thin, so you could almost see through it. And then, make dozens and dozens of raviolis. I can see everybody smiling. I think I'm bringing back memories. Yeah.
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 My cousin Frank would sit on them now.
Yeah.
Actually, in Italy, there's a way of saying that is a tavola non si invecchia, which means you never get old when you are around the table. And that explains perfectly the relationship between Italians and food, especially on some, occasion like the Sunday dinner, Sunday lunch during the holidays. Because as Letizia said before, it's not just about eating, it's about being together.
Yeah.
And so we talk, and we, even when the meal is gone for so long.
Right. And, that's the sad thing about here. Everybody's, so spread out now. Our kids and like my sister, they have grandchildren, or some of my cousins have grandchildren. They don't have that experience anymore, of being with the family. I mean, there was nothing like being with my grandmother. And in my aunt's house she had a very small house. There were like 4 seats in the kitchen, so it was always, my grandmother always had a seat, and 1 or 2 of my uncles always had a seat. And then after that, it was, potluck. But Jersey Girl asked a question about braciole. So I'm going to take a guess here that it's throughout Italy, but I'm going to guess that the stuffing is different every place.
Yes, because braciole is a stick. Sometimes basically roasted meat in most of Italy. Yeah. While braciole is in Puglia is just some meat, but rolled in voltini. I cannot remember the name. Voltini. And involtini is meat that is rolled with inside onion and persil, and especially in Bari there is a long-lasting tradition that is braciole di cavallo. It's a horse meat. I don't know whether the question comes from descended from Puglia, because braciole in Puglia is something completely different from all the other regions.
For instance, I believe that in northern Italy, braciola is a slice of meat that is fried, because there is also a tradition of frying meat in the north of Italy, and so it's braciole. It's all over Italy. It's it's a slice of meat, but it depends.
Made in different ways.
A lot.
Yes.
The way they cook it, and also what they refer to. Yeah.
But in Naples, guys, also braciole in some recipes. I remember because I spent a lot of time in Naples. I love Naples as a city. They use the braciole, which is this wrapped meat like beef. They use beef in Naples with the which they put into the ragu, guys, to give it more flavor. So just to see how different the Italian cuisine is at the end. So basically, braciole, yes.
And for instance, in Tuscany, when we refer about the steak castec, we refer about a big chunk of meat with the bone, and not the braciole. And the braciole is just the fettina, so the tiny slice.
Fettina, which is
you can use it in different ways. You can do
absolutely. Yes, that's
yes. And considering that ragu is the king of this meeting tonight, we can say that this talking again about Bari, braciole in wrapped meat is put in the ragu.
Yes.
And the ragu, and in the wrapped meat, I said onion, I was wrong, it's garlic, cheese, and persil. And then you put sticks and then you add some other types of meat, and that is called the butcher's ragu, like il ragu del macellaio, because it has to be with different types of meat because of the savor, and in this case is good also because there is garlic inside, and then that gives tomato some more savor, and it's special after 5 hours of cooking. like we said.
Now, and my father's mother and father, they were from Naples, and my father's, apparently his favorite dish was a braciole. It not a lot inside it, a little cheese, a little parsley, carrot, like carrot stick, and rolled and made with about 5 pounds of onion. You slice the onions,
yes,
and it makes like this creamy onion sauce.
yes.
And everybody, I tell them about this, and they think I'm crazy. Like, that can't be Italian, you know. That, and I said, well, it's from my grandmother's from Naples, but I don't know if it was like a family recipe, you know, handed down, or something traditional, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It's very common to adopt also.
When you use a lot of onion to create the sauce around the meat, sometimes we call that Genovese. The Genovese is a typical dish when, and then you have pappardelle with it. And then you have as a first course pappardelle. It is a special egg handmade pasta.
Tagliatella, a wider tagliatella.
A wider tagliatella. And then you also eat the meat that has been cooked for hours again in the onion. And this is again, we need amaro and some digestive piece after that.
So Tracy asked about polenta. Is it served everywhere in Italy?
Bob, I'm the least one. I'm Southern. We don't go polenta. I'm sorry.
No.
It's more from the center and northern Italy. It's made from. It's a very poor dish. It also comes from the cucina povera because people didn't have money, didn't have many means of surviving. So it's la polenta gialla, which is the yellow flour, and you can cook it in different ways. You can cook the most traditional is just adding water to the flour and stir on while it's heating until it becomes something thick. And then you also can add ragu or any other kind of sauce, also tomato sauce if you want. And in some part of Italy, you can also, as polenta is thick, you can also cut it, chop it into pieces and fry it. Polenta fritta is delicious. In Tuscany, in Livorno in particular, my hometown, we call the scagliozzi, which is these little pieces of polenta that are fried. And also in Veneto, which is in the northeast of Italy, they make polenta with fish, for instance, with bacala, cold fish or any other kind of fish. Yeah, so it's and it's good. I mean, alone it's not so savory, but with some sauce or something like together, it's very good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Well, this has been enlightening for sure. You know, next to talking about genealogy, food, I love food. I went to restaurant school, so I kind of have an affinity for food myself. And several people were sending me messages saying they need the recipes. So whatever recipe you want to send me, please send. And also, I want to do a special Christmas post. So, Elena, you sent me something, but if anybody has a Christmas photos from years ago in Italy, or even current photos, something from Italy with Christmas. I'd love to have it to put in the post for Christmas. Well, thanks again, everybody. I know it's late over there in Italy, Letizia. I appreciate you being here.
No, thank you. I just wanted to show you because today is Sunday, it's just little like this.
Yeah.
And it's not you have to have that special.
Yes.
Yeah, the special thumb working on that. Yes.
I remember. I can see it now. My aunt going like this for hours.
Yes, sir.
If Ragu is the king, Orecchietta is the queen, of course.
Yes, I agree with you on this. It's so yes.
Everybody's posting me now that they're all hungry, so they're all going to have Italian Sunday dinner. Well, thanks again, everybody. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Talk soon.
Have a nice Sunday, everybody.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.